It hurts so much when your heart is frozen and breaking. I loved her, but now I feel cold. The pain stopped after a few hours in the freezer. My spirit watches as she takes a mallet to my chest and butchers me to cannibalize my corpse. For so much of his life he was blind. But then one day he could finally see. He looked down at his latest kill. No longer blind to the terrible things he had done. In this moment of clarity, he couldn't handle this new awareness, so finally, once again, he made it so he couldn't see. In death, he regained this life's blindness. This was the greatest day of his life. Everything was going according to plan. The hunt was successful, dinner in the oven, the evening free of responsibilities. This was the worst day of her life. Nothing was working. She couldn't finish her evening run. And she was his dinner in the oven, also free of responsibilities. It hurts me to see you like this, she said to her lover. This was quite odd and disturbing for her to say to her husband. If anyone was feeling pain while looking at their love, it was him. He was the one nailed to the kitchen wall with staples holding open his eyes.
Adieu. Parting is such sweet sorrow.
She called out before kicking her girlfriend over the balcony and into the crusher below at the sugar mill.
It's so sad what werewolves go through. I can't imagine losing my humanity like that,
whispered George as he looked down at the werewolf he just shot. Meanwhile, Steve's eyes were turning yellow. His teeth were extra sharp. But George didn't notice as Steve approached. You can't imagine losing your humanity, George. But I can! It was a beautiful sunny day outside, but not for Vladislav, the vampire who fell asleep in his car with the windows open. He was losing a lot of blood. Never again will Rastaphanos be allowed to carry the groceries from the blood bank. The man wished for rain, but the genie was cruel. As the rainwater burned away their flesh, the villagers realized that their mayor never specified what kind of rainwater. Don't worry, love. Spiders love to eat flies. This didn't help Tom not to worry, because he was left to die, doused in honey and covered in flies. He had a severe headache. All he wanted was for it to go away, which technically did happen when the spilling of blood finally stopped, I suppose. All she wanted was for her problematic boss to be fired. I suppose that technically he was, since he was burned alive. It's like my grandfather used to always say. By the time you realize that there's a vampire in your presence, it's already too late. How tragic that I spent so many years trying to disprove him, only to become the vampire that killed him myself. Finally, after all that time, I've escaped from the digital world, and am back in reality. That was the most terrifying thing I've ever gone through. I thought my mind would fall apart. I was afraid that I'd be trapped in that computer forever, ever. But
Returned! Error 404. Reality not